Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You're still watching the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Summer 2017 split. Of course, we'll be your shoutcasters for the final match you have tonight. I'm Atlas. With me is Vulcan. We just got back from that 1-1 between Asian Arena and Jengski.
The results of high risk, high reward.
Man.
That is the theme for match 2, where we did see Jengski fumble a bit in game 1 with really tremendous mistakes. I mean, like monumental mistakes they made in game 1, they fixed it so far with the picks, going on to Spear with a Nilly. From that pick itself, we knew that Spear would go all in, very aggressive, high risk, high reward, and that is how they ended the match with a 1-1.
Of course, a play style like that, when you actually get a good break, you just power through it. But now we have a new match for you guys. It's going to be IPT versus MSK.
And here on to the schedule. There you have it, match 3, IPT versus MSK, one of the names we always hear, and the finalists in the last split, the Spring Split 2017, going on to GPL, MSK and IPT. From a bit of more of a history background, we did see IPT. They were so close to representing the Philippines in the spring split of the GPL. But MSK came back with a reverse sweep. From 2-0 became 3-2. And that is how they managed to represent the Philippines. But let's see, will this be the same case this time going into the summer split?
I'm really looking forward to this. After all, it's not just because of last split, but rather these are two teams that have consistently been in the top 4, always been to the playoffs, and their power, seeing two Titans clash, definitely is something that I want to see and what all of our viewers want to see, because these two teams have star players in their teams. So I'm really looking forward to how all of it plays out, how the fire, what's left after the ashes settle.
And to our viewers out there, note that we are still on our match and win promo. Every match we have this code. Stay tuned to see when will pop out. And it's the same mechanics. Fill in that black spot. You get to win yourself a free Imperial skin. But on to our working summoners. Note that we are still having the summoners shift. What is this? This is open for all employees. July 1. Saturday, 10 a.m. at the G1 Gaming Cafe, Guadalupe.
So all of you, after a working week, Monday to Friday, unwind, relieve your stress.
Or get And also for our creative summoners who are very talented or who are not summoners or a fan of the PGS itself, we are having the PGS Digital Fan Art Contest. Note that the Rampage 2017 is nearing up to us. And also that is the stage for the finals of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series. What is this? This is actually a digital art contest where you draw one member from each team. Since we have 8 teams, there has to be 8 members in total to show your creative sides. Like, how will you imagine your creativity as a pro gaming series, like the scene of it? So mechanics as follows: it is a digital art, hand drawn, and that scan is not considered eligible. So for further information, visit the website at garena.ph/PGS. That's Garena, the esports.garena.ph/PGS.
So all of you who want more details on this, artistic summers, can just go to that page, fill out all the details, and you'll be able to get a chance to win some. So it's really, just seeing the artistic side of all of our players. Definitely
all
something.
sides, working, creative, even students. So
I'm interested to see how they make it interesting, because if they just draw the players, it's kind of boring, right? So I'm interested to see how can they mix in the teams, the logo, I guess, their pocket picks. Definitely going to be interesting. So we'll be seeing the picks of our players here in IPT versus MSK coming to this match. Last match we have for tonight, IPT immediately banning out TG's Thresh. That is definitely a scary pick to give to TG, so taking that away takes out a lot of power, not just from TG, but from Zensho and the rest of the MSK team.
I really love this matchup, IPT and MSK. We are going to be expecting a really interesting match, a really fun game for this is kind of like a semi-rematch of what happened last time for IPT and MSK in the last split.
Definitely something like, as I said in the earlier matches, revenge best served cold. We're going to see how that plays out. This is a lot of patches since the spring term. We'll be seeing how both of these teams have adapted.
Like ham. Ham is served cold.
Sometimes I serve ham hot.
It's better cold.
Well,
holiday ham, so that is revenge. And right now, IPT might serve that holiday ham to MSK. Cold or hot, let's see who will come out on top.
Definitely, and looking at the bans here, seems like they are very serious about this one, banning out the Gragas, a flex ban as well, and a Caitlyn from Zensho. As for MSK, banning out a lot of powerful picks here, the mid Galio, which was pulled out by Light last week. Like, Galio isn't a Light champion in the way that when you think of Light, you don't think he'd pull out the Galio, but even players like Faker have pulled out the mid Galio and have like used it to great effect. That's how powerful it is. So banning that out, definitely very standard. The Zac as well still can disrupt so many compositions and team fights. Has to ban it out. The Elise against the jungler of IPT here will definitely be something that helps him out. As for IPT, it seems like Hate has something to prove. Picking that Xayah up, prioritizing it even. As for MSK, they won't let that fly, picking out that Kennen and the Kazakhs.
We've seen how a Kennen fared against a Xayah. Let's see how it turns out though. But for I gotta say, for the priority on Xayah speaks for itself, but for Ivalice, I'm pretty sure that he will be picking up the Rock on support, one of the pro, duo goals. But as I heard from Marky, it's not the fact that Rakan and Xayah goes well together. It's the fact that
it's like the meta demands.
It's the meta demands that you cannot play a melee support. You'll be heavily punished.
Heavily punished, because looking at the popular supports recently, Lulu, Karma, those heavily punished melee supports. And Rakan, who is pseudo melee, he's still considered range for the likes of Relic Shield. But the short range that he has and the fact that he has to really go in to put his utility out makes it difficult for him to survive in this meta. But still, the fact that both of these kits are enhanced when they are together might make it a very potent combo. The Ivern actually gets through the pick and ban. Ivalice will be picking that up. Lots of annoyance that can come from that Ivern. As for the banning phase, the second banning phase, seems like Lulu will not be seeing play this game, and the Jace coming from Suzaku definitely banned out as well.
Very interesting picks coming from Imperium Pro Team. Seeing Ivern being revealed again for you, Atlas. That's going to be Jungle Ivern against the Kazakhs. How does it feel?
Seems like the Kazakhs has to be careful, because if the camps are stolen away by Ivalice, that's actually a huge setback for MSK. It seems like the second bans here will be the Syndra and the Fiora. It seems like Karma is actually open, but it seems like MSK are not picking that up. Instead, going for TG's Braum.
Yeah, when you said that Kazakhs has to be careful, what did you mean by that? Invasion-wise, or the fact that he will be picked up when he ganks? Knowing that when the Kazakhs go all in, can he escape that Ivern?
It's actually both, because Ivern has a lot of counter gank potential. You think you're going to take out the kill, but then the seed bomb comes in, the trigger seed comes in, the snare goes in, and you get killed. Or also in the invades, because if Kazakhs loses one of his big camps, that's a huge setback. You lose out on experience and levels, and that can actually mean that you have lower damage and power for your ganks, which is really important for the Kazakhs.
I wonder how Imperium Pro Team will play this out. Looking at the picks, looks pretty solid. We have an Ivern, we have a Rakan, and I think when it comes to clash potentials, IPT knows their stuff, knowing that there is an Ivern for the Daisy and the Shield, but for MSK side, they have that Shen, the safety guard, and we will be seeing an ADC cannon against a Xayah. We saw what happened with TME's game. Let's hope IPT will show him how it is done.
Very dangerous as well. The Kassadin picked up by Exos and could trade very evenly with Light with a magic damage shield, but we've seen a lot of Kassadins in pro and semi-pro play in the Philippines not really popping off as they should be, like getting behind early and then being punished once the mid-game and late game comes. it's going to be up to Exosen as well as James to really make this Kassadin pick work. And also interestingly, the cannon pickup for Zensho, definitely going to be very powerful when it comes to the team fights.
And here are our player statistics.
Light and
Exosen, the two mid laners in our featured matchup.
Seems like the GPM, the gold per minute, is heavily in favor of Exo. But the KDA is still on Light's side. Of course, when you come to this roams here, when Light roams, it will naturally have lower gold per minute because it does have a huge cost in terms of the CS as well as the turrets. So that might be what makes a difference here. Of course, these are still very, very powerful mid laners that you have to watch out for.
And there it is, guys. I'm pretty excited to see how MSK against Imperium Pro Team will play it out. This is a 2-game series, and I think from last split, both of these teams have been practicing and boot camping to prepare for the summer split revenge.
Whether hot or cold.
Whether cold ham or hot ham.
It's going to be a very intense match between Imperium Pro Team and MSK. Of course, we have loaded onto the Rift here for the last match we have for tonight. Imperium Pro Team versus MSK League of Legends. We'll be seeing how both of our teams play out their level 1s in this final match for today.
The highlight match between the veterans, the titans of the PGS. Let's get straight to it.
Seems like IPT trying to go for some deep wards or maybe even a kill here with the invade. MSK with a lines of scrimmage just to protect their camps, protect their vision. We'll be seeing how IPT plays this out. They got to be sneaky for this one to work out.
Just guarding those jungle entrances. Ivalice, though, showing his skin towards James. Look at me, I'm a sweet target. Go for me.
Literally a sweet target. He is on that Candy King Ivern.
Yeah, the bait did not work out.
Not really. Yeah, there's a restraint coming from James. He knows that at this point, if Ivalice is rotating around that aggressively at level 1, that means IPT's around the corner waiting to jump him. The restraint from James not to overcommit there. Definitely something, because he smelled something was wrong. So now it's just both of these junglers back to their usual routes.
Smell their fear.
The smell and taste. Because when you smell something, you can pretty much already taste it.
That is very correct, and I think for James, he knows his restraint. But when you talk about James on a Kha'Zix and Ivalice on an Ivern, the fact that the Ivern can bypass so much, I'm going to say, pathing troubles, he can instantly clear, but the health is very punishing.
If James finds him in a wrong spot, Ivalice will be taken down, but the clear is kind of fast for Ivalice, and being able to set down those groves means that, and very safely as long as James is on invade, means that he can go for these level 2 ganks.
Oh, look at that level 2 gank onto Exo Zen. He eats so much damage. Chugging down that potion, he did start with the Doran's shield, but the setback that he can't really be, let's say, have the freedom to roam around that well.
Yeah.
Knowing that Ivalice did hit level 2 spike and still very healthy.
That's the thing. That gank was not for a kill. That was just to pressure Exosen out, prevent him from OCSing. Here comes a fight here in the bot lane.
Flash out from Zensho. That's an ignite burn for Shadow.
And that's the thing with these bot lanes that have a melee support. They can be easily punished by AD carries and as well as these supports. While Rakan is not really one of those champions that heavily punish like Karma or Lulu. The damage that comes from her feathers, as Marky usually says, the damage coming from Hate, from the Xayah is actually very potent.
Let's see how it plays in the mid lane. And from experience, when we see Light on a mid laner which has so much burst and snowball potential, I think because of this, Light has a more room to grow in this game.
More room to grow, and definitely he's constantly pushed in by Light So it's definitely so hard. Oh my god!
Flash and charm! Cut him off
So
guard.
decisive, but now
Light
he
gets
curves
the
James.
first blood.
The first blood, definitely something big for an assassin like Light. Being in the lead like that in terms of CS experience as well as the first kill of the game puts Exosen even further behind. Has to pick up the refillable potion here just to survive longer against Light, because the thing with the nerf to Doran's shield meant that Exosen had 150 less health in the lane, which could actually contribute to how he just died there, level 3 compared to Light, who's about to reach level 5 after getting back to lane.
And yes, that's a message that Light sent to Exo. Do not recall when I can just land my charm very easily, but James is in the top side, gets spotted by a ward. Suzaku knows, he knows better.
It's quite dangerous here, cannot be caught off guard.
This is the whole point of the game, actually. Catching people off guard. And that is how Light managed to get the first blood, ending up getting his really key laning item. That's going to be a lot of sustain for Light. And note that we are seeing an Ivern jungle. That's just pure sustain in the lane.
It's going to be much harder later for Exosen once he reaches level 6, and he will reach level 6 much slower than Light. So that means Light will be ahead in terms of the roam and be able to assassinate more around the map. Well, Exosen still has help from James here.
Here comes James, making some room for Exosen, but Ivalice really getting there just in time.
Ivalice, because he has the freedom to actually go tracker snipe first, he doesn't really need to complete the rest of his items first. Being able to put down a lot of vision for IPT, plus being able to put the trigger seed down on Light, means that Light can feel very safe in lane, knowing that Ivalice has a lot of freedom to rotate. And he is on that Ivern.
Yeah, he's on an Ivern, and the first blood did go to Light, so that's a huge bonus for him. But in the top lane, though, Suzaku losing in terms of trade because the Jarvan is pretty mana hungry, but note that he is running the Undying Grasp, same as Kaigu on that Shen. But when it comes to dueling, the Shen will really, in the long run, will outplay the Jarvan.
Definitely has a lot more sustained damage compared to Jarvan, who just has one spike of burst damage and then falls off in the fight after that. Ivalice, he is under vision. Exosen and James know what's up. And this pressure, actually, I like how Exosen, despite all the pressure put on him, despite the first blood, he is matching Light in terms of the CS. Not letting him be phased by how the pressure from Ivalice can be off-putting, as well as the fact that Light can just continue going on him. He is on a melee champion after all.
And also the fact that Light picks up this easy item, the key component building to the Morello Molicon, that gives him really good mana sustain, and that's something that Light wants.
Be dangerous.
Oh no, Light though charms James under the turret. Pretty close call, and that is a kill for Light.
The outplay coming from Lion, giving us a little dance there after that. James got really greedy there, and I think Light knew. He knew that he would go for the flash auto.
Whoa, that was so unexpected. That was like a clutch. I thought James would have killed off Light there.
Yeah, but the second, okay, no, not the second, the instant that James bursted him down, Light knew he has flash. He's going to flash onto me to kill me. So before James can even flash, he already starts the charm. I love that. I love the decisiveness of that. And that actually gives him another kill. 2-0 on that Ahri will make him very scary. Look at here.
Slow motion.
Definitely skill. It's very bad for him to recall there. It's very bad for him to recall there.
Ivalice, though, also wanted to join in the fight.
Even a flash.
Even a flash. But Light says, I got this.
That was a definitely good outplay from Light. But the thing is, it's very dangerous to recall there in the first place. But in the end, it did play out very well for IPT.
Bait the baiter, and that's what happened. Under the turret, he took on at least one third hit, and then a double hit from the Orb of Deception. That was just enough for James to bite the dust.
Sealed his fate. This actually makes it a lot harder for Exosen once again. The fact that Light can constantly push him in means that Exosen will have a lot of trouble trying to go for his roams.
Oh, the minute that Light missed a charm, see how Exo just straight went in. That is decisiveness coming from the two mid laners, one of two best of the mid laners in the PGS.
Really deserving to be the one puts in the spotlight here in this match. We'll be seeing how James recovers from this, because being behind a kill against an Ivern will definitely hurt this Kha'Zix. As I've said, if this Kha'Zix gets behind, it's so hard to get back in the game. Because once you get behind, the rest of the enemy team will have more stats just from leveling up, more health, as well as their itemizations will help him damage more. So that means James will have to work a lot more to get those assassinations.
And he has to work for his money. James cannot rely on those easy pick of kills. He has to work for it. I mean, earn that kill.
It's going to be very hard once IPT starts scaling up more, because after he died, it's not just like getting gold, it's the jungler losing time and gold as well. So that means, and time is the essence for junglers. If you miss a second in terms of your pathing, it's almost over for you.
And Exo really has to rush that Roa. I mean, he needs that huge chunk of HP to survive the burst coming from light. And here comes straight rush. The charm does not connect, and so does the root collar. So Exo, fancy footwork, just wasting the time of Ivalice, but in the end, Light still managed to push him under the turret.
And because he is pushed under the turret, he cannot roam as much. This is one of the strengths of this caster, and even if he has teleport, he has to make a huge decision when he wants to roam. Because that means that's going to be a lot of damage to his own turret if he leaves it alone with Light.
And now, in terms of the bottom lane wise,
it's very even.
Very even in the sense that they are not putting too much aggression onto it, and knowing that there is that restriction there on both melee supports. The fact that they cannot overcommit, especially on a Braum, is bad news. But when it comes to the jungler's proactiveness, I gotta hand it to Ivalice, really pressuring the mid lane. And now, James is recalled. Eats up the charm. Dude's lovely. It's going to be James ganking the Stand United, just really cashing out the damage and time, but it would be a collapse from IPT from the bottom lane side.
A little bit too ambitious for James to keep invading Ivalice, trying to compensate for the fact that Ivalice has a lot of potential to steal his own camps. It actually backfires on him. They do get a kill, but James also dies at the back end of that fight. Rather, Exocent dies at the back end of that fight after Hate decisively just collapses onto them. I love that coming from the IPT.
Suzaku commits all in onto Kaigo, but I don't think it's a nice choice. Yeah, there is the flash on Tiamat. Proc for the kill.
Tiamat active there really helped him out to finish off the kill, but that was still very dangerous. Because after that, okay, Kaigo.
Clutch flashes.
Yeah, Kaigo had a lot of DPS even after Suzaku. Gave him lots of damage with a burst, but then after that, Kaigo just kept wailing on him with his blade, almost killing him even.
That's the problem with the Vorpal strikes, the Vorpal blade from the Shen. The sustain is really bad for the Jarvan. He can't all in on a Shen unless, let's say, he's at full health and the Shen is like at half health. Then he would win a trade.
Yeah, he would need to really keep poking him down with the Dragon Strike. But here, it might actually be the turret, but of course James is closing in on his top lane, so is Kaigo. Suzaku knows this very well.
Takes out the pink ward, spotted out in the top side.
Light still missing a lot of these charms on a target that isn't already CC'd.
Oh, Light is a pretty low on health, and we can see that James from the top lane going towards the mid lane. There is a control ward, there is that guarantee. 100% customer guarantee that there is no wards placed in that rush side. Buy a control ward now.
Yeah.
Just
nice sales pitch, but it did help out. It did not help out James in that opportunity, but it did have the future guarantee that when James ganks from the top side, Light will not see it coming. Of course, they still have to mind if any wards are placed in a dot brush in the river, because those are not covered by the side brush control ward.
Pretty decisive rotations coming from Ivalice. The fact that he knows the pathing of the Kha'Zix to the point that he sort of mirrors the movements of James, that's a huge setback for a Kha'Zix.
Yeah, because information is everything in this matchup. Because even if James ganks, if Ivalice arrives, that's the kill denied, or at least the revenge kill will happen, 1 or 2. Because the Ivern here really makes it a pain for these assassin junglers. And look at Suzaku being able to push in this Shen. Look at his 4-man for the bot lane here.
Tags in Daisy. Here comes Daisy.
Oh man!
Will the IPT securing the first spot and also dive onto MSK spot lane. Do a Glacial Fissure for that powerful slow zone, really slowing down the members of IPT. Light wasn't very low, but it will be Hate securing that ROM.
Gotta be a double kill for Hate there, putting him quite ahead. Here's the trade-off in the top lane.
That's a very close call for Suzaku. He has to back away, does not have flash, does not have the Cataclysm, just wasting the time of Mineski. It would be Kaigu picking up a kill.
In the end, it is a 1-for-2, still in favor of IPT. They do get the first turn of the game with a pressure that Suzaku inserted there in the top lane. However, that's still a huge gold spike for IPT. Now 2,500 gold ahead, but at this point of the game, it's actually pretty big. It's around a few component items for IPT's build paths.
When it comes to build path, who do you think has the upper hand here? I would say, for me, it would be the mid lane. Really good pickup on the Morelos. Standard pickup, but it's the fact that he was able to complete it so fast.
Yeah, I mean, the Roa needs a lot of time to ramp up. 10 minutes for it to reach full power. And at the beginning, it's not completely gold efficient. When it's still at 0, 1 or 2, 3 stacks, it needs to be around at least at 6 stacks for it to actually be fully effective and really worth the gold that you spend on it.
What's more worth, though, I guess it would be that control ward.
The control ward, it's still not cleared. IPT has not cleared that top side brush control ward.
So in the end, they are saving 150 gold.
Definitely
also denying
something.
Hamas. When you deny Hamas a kill, that will just make him go hungry and forcing him to beg for ganks and kills.
Something that James really wants to go for. He has 2 assists right now, but
He's
it's not enough to
hungry.
snowball that Kha'Zix.
He's very hungry. I mean, he just finished up the Warriors enchantment. The booster has not yet been completed. Whereas Ivalice, Redemption.
Yeah, the thing
shield.
with Ivern is that his build paths are very convenient. He doesn't need to finish the enchantment just yet. Just run straight for that redemption, and that's already a lot of utility for your team.
Oh, Exo's very low. He does fight back against Light. He does have the Stand United shield. Light forced out of his comfort zone with a flash.
Seems like it was cancelled, however.
Oh no, here comes Shadow for the dive, and the redemption is coming to play. Zencho backs away onto the turret. TG joins him in, but now Ivalice is there. The turret is very low. Daisy comes in for the tag in. Hamas for the respawn, but it'll be too late. The turret is down. Teleport coming in from the top lane. Suzaku will join in. Slashing Maelstrom does stun Ivalice down. Teleport coming in. Tiger will join in the fight. Hamas out position. Now left for Den. However, a flash and Cataclysm by Suzaku will take down the cannon. But here comes Exo from the mid lane. Can he back away though? Here comes Ivalice and Shadow for the response. Exo backs away.
Still heavily in favor of IPT. They are missing 1 member. Mineski's still missing 1 member, but IPT has to back off from this. I don't think they can even get the Ocean Drake from this. It might be too risky, but that dive very well executed, and plus the follow-up from that, just to get that turret already. Seems like the Ocean Drake will be able to pick up here. James cannot contest that just yet. Seems like it will be an easy Ocean Drake. Very good transition, actually putting them ahead in the gold. 4,000 over Mineski.
And that's going to help them sustain their lane. Not really that powerful yet, but let's see how it plays out in the late phase of the game. Knowing that the Suzaku is sitting on a really nice KDA, pretty solid so far with the Black Cleaver and a Tiamat, will really help in that pushing power. Whereas Zencho on that cannon has yet to show some fancy work. It's the fact that there is that favorite Ivern of yours, Atlas.
Being able to confidently dive in, because Daisy is just like an extra member for these dives. Being able to put out a lot of front line as well as the knockups. The thing is, even if Daisy gets some damage onto a champion, the aggro goes to Ivalice. And Ivalice is actually decently tanky right now, which allows the rest of his team to just go straight, continue the dive.
Normally we would see that when Ivalice finishes up the redemption, instant Solari, but that's not the case. He might go for the Ardent Sensor maybe.
Definitely going to be helpful for that Xayah. More feathers, more damage for that Blade Caller. I really like this itemization come from Ivalice, and them being able to dive Zencho. And that's a Kennen. Kennen is one of the most dangerous champions to die because of the Slicing Maelstrom. but because they have the safety of Daisy and the rest of the Ivern kit, they're able to pull off these dives in bot lane consistently, giving Hate those 2 kills he got earlier.
And also the redemption for that game-changing mechanic. That's pretty helpful.
Being able to reset their HP.
Uh-oh, Suzaku
it up.
has to back away. Hamas is there for the gang. Suzaku, I think, is pretty much dead here so far. Going to kill.
Kaigo did not even receive any damage in that fight. Oh man, Hate.
Upside United. Kaigo will join in the fight, but it would be Hate controlling them members. A flash in pump will succeed for Kaigo. There is the firestorm, and EXO is very low, does get ignited. He does back away, but TG will be knocked off by Shadow. Here comes Ivalice for the respawn. Hate still dealing damage. The slow from the red buff is enough to catch him before he can escape.
Man, that's the safety of the Xayah, and that's why it's so powerful right now with the popular supports being a lot of utility and protective supports. And this is one of the reasons. Being able to dodge out so much damage and crowd control with that Feather Storm and then retaliate with the damage it has with a Blade Caller puts down TG. It is just 1 kill, but that stops the attempts of Mineski from retaliating from the push in the mid lane.
And that's a huge setback for Mineski. They have to wait up for the late game. EXO really has to stack up those Roa, and he has to catch up in terms of damage, but I wonder how it will play out. Light did die to Zensho once. Hamas is there for the ward clear enough to make Light back away.
Light backing away, and since Hamas, they know Hamas is top side, so they have a little bit more freedom to push this mid lane, but not too much. It is still the mid lane that's like close to both of these top side and bot light jungles, so they have to be careful. Oh. Look at that decisiveness, just constantly harass with the feathers. And even when you're just harassing with the feathers, that still also sets up. While Xayah is attacking, that still means Mineski cannot be too gutsy and go in, because the feathers will still be there.
Oh man. No, TG, more of confidence really paying the price.
There was no reason to position there, because it was so easy to knock him up there. And this actually leaves IPT open to possibly take another turret.
Let's see if he'll succeed though. Zensho from the backside. Hamas also is there. Daisy for the front line.
Oh, they're still going for another one.
Oh, rooted. That's going to be bad news for Hamas. He gets shot down, and Zensho is forced to back away, but I don't think Suzaku is going to let that happen for a double kill dive. Kaigo is left to defend, and the mid lane inhibitor turret is very low in health. Daisy's tanking, and Kaigo is just dancing with Suzaku, and Suzaku just bypasses him, goes on to EXO instead, but gets denied by the Glacial Fissure. With the inhibitor exposed, I think this will be the first inhibitor of the game going to IPT.
At 21 minutes, so fast, so furious, 7,000 gold ahead, building it up, plus the pressure for the mid lane inhibitor being down, leaves IPT open to make plays in other places in the map. And even though Drake is not live just yet, they will be able to take it much more easily with the super minions pushing down the mid lane. And the thing there, what happened, that was so effective from IPT. As soon as TG was down, that's a huge defensive champion away from Mineski, which meant that the rest of them are now vulnerable. And the thing is, these are champions that are either need a good early game but are behind, such as Hames, or need some time to scale up, such as Zensho's Kennen as well as the mid lane Kassadin.
And also the fact that Hames was also rooted by Ivalice, that was another member down. So Mineski with 2 members, key members down, they could not even contest or even defend their own turret.
Now let's break down what happened there. Of course, Hames instantly gets destroyed and Zensho leaves himself open, even with a slicing Maelstrom doing pretty good job at keeping him a little bit more alive because of the CC. But after that, because the team of Mineski is so split up here, Light and the rest of IPT just clean up house while Hate just keeps on going for the mid lane turret.
Suzaku though still sticking to it, even though he knows Kaigo is going to join in the fight. He backs away, 2 against 1 with IPT just at the Baron Pit, buying time. So Suzaku's doing his job, EXO backs away, recalling, but it would be Suzaku left to duel against Kaigo, and I think that's bad news. But in the Baron Pit, it's all about pressure. Suzaku and Kaigo has teleport. There's a teleport from Kaigo.
Suzaku's way too low to help
he can't help out. It would be a teleport from EXO coming in while Kaigo is still in the bot side, waiting it out. There's the redemption for the heal. I think this would just be a reset in the Baron pit.
Just going to shove out that top lane. A reset of the Baron, as you said, would be way too risky to continue going for that. With the teleport down for Exocen, actually, both of these top laners still have theirs up. So it will still be very risky for IPT to go for any Baron call that's not safe.
Oh, a collapse onto the red side jungle. Again, James eats that root.
James gets rooted down 0-4 and 3. I think he's trying way hard to position himself in such a way he can flank IPT. But at this point of the game, Shadow will just be able to protect Hate 24/7, and Ivalice will just keep peeling for their team, knocking them up with Daisy as well as their roots and shielding them with the Trigger Seed.
So with 6 turrets in the hands of IPT, whereas Mineski has 0, things are looking pretty good for IPT in terms of map control and objectives.
It's really very dangerous for Mineski. 8,000 gold behind means that IPT is more positioned to take down these objectives. And as I said, because their mid lane is pushing so hard in favor of IPT, it puts the pressure onto Mineski. They have to deal with this huge wave building in the mid lane, so IPT can just really take these objectives such as the Ocean Drake. And this will make their further Baron attempts and sieges much stronger.
And with Suzaku just soloing that Mountain Drake gives IPT another key objective.
Look at that, decisively already going for it, already at around half health. The rest of Mineski is not responsive to this. James is on the other side of the map. Seems like this will be a free IPT Baron.
Oh, Glacial Fissure for the attempt still will not succeed, so that's a Glacial Fissure down for TG.
That's huge. If IPT gets a good engage, there will be no ultimate from TG to stop it. So dangerous. IPT really decisive with the calls here, knowing that the mid lane wave will be building so heavily. They can take advantage of it by first taking the Mountain Drake and then the Baron call. So decisive. Seems like Kaigu pushing down this bot lane against the turret, who is not even fallen down for IPT.
Oh, wow.
He needs a lot of work to take down these structures.
Let's see how it plays out. Right now, they have the Mountain and the Ocean. IPT complete control of the top side. And now, with the Baron in the hands of IPT, Mineski, what should they do, Atlas, at this point?
The thing is that the composition really needs to snowball. James needs to snowball, definitely. 0-4 and 3 means that this Kha'Zix will not be dealing any sort of damage. At this point, the Black Cleaver is just so Zensho can keep doing damage. But Zensho is kind of a mixed damage dealer. He is dealing a lot of AD damage, but the fact that it's a cannon who was originally designed by Riot to be AP still deals a lot of magic damage with his kit. So this Black Cleaver really only helps himself. And because they're so behind, Exocen also did not snowball. And as a roaming assassin, did not get the opportunity to roam. So it's very hard for him to actually get back now. He can still deal so much damage because he has the Morello now and the fully stacked Roa. If Zensho gets a good slicing Maelstrom with the rest of his team being able to follow up with a Glacial Fissure, they can. But it puts so much risk onto Zensho to go into the range of slicing Maelstrom. It's hard. They have to wait for IPT to go on them. And that's when the slicing Maelstrom can be used.
Look at that. Ivalice offering some cover for his teammates, whereas in the bottom side we're seeing Suzaku and Kaigo doing one teleport is available, which would be Suzaku's teleport if there will be a collapse into the top side. But you can see that IPT knows that there's no turret in the mid lane. Might as well go for that.
Expose inhibitor, and the distance that Suzaku will have to travel in case a teleport gets cancelled is much shorter as well. But seems like he's just continuing to push here in bot lane. Will even get this bot lane turret, and Kaigu cannot extend too far out of this base because the rest of IPT will be ready. So they're just waiting right now to go for the inhibitor. Mineski, this is the only point where they can make an aggressive play, defending this inhibitor.
Here comes Glacial Fissure for the knockup and a teleport coming in from Kaigu with the Stallion United, but Hate will still be a lot of help. He has all the position he needs to get that double. A collapse that Mineski started fails with 3 members being shut down by IPT.
Man, I think this is actually game. Look at the death timers for the huge damage dealers for Mineski. 20 seconds is not enough to defend this against 6 pushing champions. And like at this point, since Ivalice was so ahead, that Daisy could be considered another champion. This actually takes away the win for IPT versus Mineski in their 3rd match for today.
Opening it up with IPT successfully defeating Mineski in Game 1. Congratulations to IPT for that outstanding gameplay. I mean, for Ivoless on an Ivor is something that you have to watch out.
Something from that, breaking that game down, James was not able to get the ganks off because Ivoless was always there to mirror his rotations, as well as being the Ivern. The risk of the ganks coming from James is really diminished because Ivern can move around very quickly. Plus, he has the trigger seed. Plus, he has the root collar. It's so dangerous. Plus, Exosen was not able to roam at all.
Yeah,
and that's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest strengths of that Kassadin. And that just contributed to his very low KDA. 0.33 KDA is pretty bad for a Kassadin. Exosen, he's a great mid laner, but it seems like he wasn't able to put out his skill in this game because of one, the matchup, and the composition.
Looking at the end game stats, it would be live with a 5-7, snowballing in the mid lane, really successfully beating on James. And from that itself...
Oh, look at the damage.
Oh, wow.
I think this is kind of skewed because he spent a lot of his time dueling with the opposing top laner. But of course, still a lot of burst that happens in the team fights.
And remember that double kill into the base side where he flashed and Demasian started combo.
Man,
that was enough for them to
completely dunked the opposition there.
Yeah, dunked. So I think we have our first game concluded with IPT securing the first victory of the last match of third week today. So guys, there you have it. This has been the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. Drive your energy. We'll be back after a short break. We have been your casters. I am Vulcan, and joining with me is Atlas. We'll be back for Game 2. And from the top lane, Suzaku will join in. Slashing Maelstrom does stun Ivoless down. Teleport coming in. Tiger will join in fight. James out position. Now left for Dan. However, a flash and Cataclysm. But Suzaku will take down the cannon. But here comes Axel. That'll be bad news for James. He gets jumped down and his Hezencho is forced to back away. But I don't think Suzaku is going to let that happen for a double kill dive. Tiger is left to defend in the mid lane. Inhibitor turn is very low in health. Daisy is tanking and Tiger is just dancing with Suzaku, and Suzaku just bypasses him, goes on to Axel instead, but gets denied by the Glacial Fissure. With the inhibitor exposed, I think this will be the first inhibitor of the game going to IPT.
At 21 minutes.
There comes Glacial Fissure for the knockup, and a teleport coming in from Tiger with the Stadium United, but Hayne will still be a lot of help. He has all the position he needs to get that double. A collapse that Mineski started failed with 3 members being shut down by IPT.
Man, I think this is actually a game. Look at the death timers put a huge damage really for Mineski. 20 seconds is not enough to defend this against 6 pushing champions. And like at this point, since Ivoless was so ahead that Daisy could be considered another champion, this actually takes away the win for IPT versus Mineski in their third match.